Welcome to Find the Connection, the podcast where we explore the history, development, events, and stories that make Northeast Florida so inviting. I'm your host, Kendra Robertson, a real estate professional, community leader, wellness ambassador, and proud resident of Jacksonville Beach for over 30 years. In each episode, we'll dive into the stories of the people that are making a difference, both at a local level and nationally. We'll share an inside look at real estate with tips for maintaining work-life balance, from winning your mornings to winning your day, all while staying connected with our vibrant local community. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's find the connection between community and living your best life. I am here with Sheri Nicholson today. I think her philosophy is just teaching a holistic approach to healthy, happy mind, body, spirit, lifestyle in general. But she is a bundle of energy and has her hand in the fire of a little bit of everything. But I've always admired her community involvement, and we actually met when our children, she has two boys similar age to two of my three girls, and we met when the kids were young. But I specifically remember a conversation when we were trying to decide where we were going to go to elementary school. And in Jacksonville, there are so many options. You know, there's your local school, your magnet, your charter, private, and we both ended up at our neighborhood school, you at Neptune Beach Elementary and me at San Pablo Elementary, which ultimately fed into Fletcher Middle and Fletcher High School. But yeah, we were both very similar. We got very involved in PTA and building playgrounds and all that kind of thing. Can you just tell me a little bit just about...
about us in the PTA and playgrounds?
Yeah.
Hey, that was very inspirational. Matter of fact, it was a conversation we just brought up because it's been over 20 years and they just replaced one of those playgrounds. So,
Yeah, they're in the process of, I think, fundraising for that.
Yeah, at Gonzales Park. Now they got a track over at Neptune Beach they're doing. It's just, it's exciting. I think that's the biggest thing that always was real important to me is children had a place to play and using their imagination and not just always structured play, but just to be able to play. So when we had the opportunity to talk about building a track or building a playground, we went as far as an 80% handicap playground and 100%, the only 100% handicap playground in Jacksonville in Duval County, Florida. So, yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. And we just had a little reunion with a bunch of people and a bunch of teachers talking about how 20 years went by pretty fast.
Were you involved in Sunshine Park too?
Yeah. Julie Geisman and I started that project.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was incredible as well.
Yeah.
Inspired by the playground down in St. Augustine, correct?
Yeah, the St. Augustine, and then we went park hopping. It was a great excuse for us to take our kids on trips to Georgia, Palaca, and see all these different parks that were being built. And wow, man, we were both like, we've got this. We're going to build a playground. And then we found the property. It was supposed to be it originally, Kendra, and it wasn't big enough for what we wanted to do and for parking. And they said, oh, well, we got that piece of property over there off South Beach at the time, didn't think much of it. I thought, wow, how big is it? And they said it's over an acre. And I go, oh, that'll work.
What a legacy, though, for
incredible.
Everyone that was involved with it.
Yeah. Thousands of volunteers. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
When did New Age Hippie come about? How long have you been doing New Age Hippie?
Yeah, so in 2009, we started New Age Hippie, and we were just going to, educate people sustainability. And we were going to sell hats and t-shirts and tie-dye and stuff like that. And we did that for about 2 years and then realized that I didn't have a passion in selling stuff. I didn't want to do that. So I went ahead and got the 501c3 for a nonprofit. And then that's when everything started to go in the direction that we felt more comfortable with. We needed grant money so that we could do educational programs for free. And what better way so people actually have a way of getting a tax deduction for their donations and sponsorships. So that was 2011 that actually went nonprofit.
So what kind of projects have you done with that over the years then?
Oh, wow. It's growing. That's the exciting part. So we started out with very simple. It was Empowered Women Empowering Workshop. That was one of the first ones we did in a dance studio. And it was, okay, well, I've got this much money that was sponsored by a company, and I think there were a couple private donors at that time. And I said, okay, so everybody that I can hire that can teach something special at this workshop, I'm paying them. And I'm going to feed everybody. That's how it all started. I'm going to feed you, and I'm going to pay everybody who's going to be one of the session leaders. And it started off, there were 6 then, and I think we only did about maybe 3-hour workshop. That was 11 workshops ago. Now we're doing 2 of those workshops a year at between sometimes 3 and 5 hours, and we feed everybody still. And the increase of pay for session leaders has definitely gone up.
So you're like women empowerment, that kind of thing are the programs that you're able to fund through New Age Hippie.
Yes. So that's only one of the programs. Empowered Women Empowering right now really does seem to be the largest of the events. And it also, there's a calling. I mean, now we're doing it twice a year, and we register anywhere from 80 up to 100 participants to a workshop. So
what kinds? I know I did the Seeds of Joy, your video that you kind of produced, but what kinds of things are you offering at these workshops? Because the women that are involved, but what exactly is it?
Right. So, okay, let's talk about the one we just did. So that was just at the first part of February. And it was all about just peace within you. That was the whole title. And there was one woman who was a retired superintendent of schools in Chicago. And she did one about being fit. And she's 67 years old. And she talked about, being one of those people who would go to the gym and just get on a treadmill or get on the bike and, do a few things and then leave. And fast forward on this story, she ends up having a trainer that kept pushing her and saying, you really should try the weights. Let me just show you the weights. So she just got her second world record for her age. She just got qualified to go to Las Vegas in June and compete as a heavyweight weightlifter that's benching almost 300 pounds or something crazy.
Wow. That's
and
exciting.
She looks phenomenal. And she said, anybody can do this. And it was so cute to see somebody could talk about, hey, I was in the school system for 30-something years. I ran from K to 12, a number of schools, blah, blah, blah. And then when I retired, it was like, well, I don't know what I'll do. I'll just go get on the treadmill. And now all of a sudden, here she is, world record, and having the time of her life. And she said she's never been so controlled and had a control of her own life and felt so good about herself as she does now. So...
it's crazy, just women in general. I know as part of my story, just putting everybody first, and in some respects, my health took a back seat. So definitely, totally get that. So she was a speaker?
She was one of the session leaders. And then we had a Reiki master out of St. Augustine that did one. And she talked about just energy in your body. If you talk Reiki about chakras and stuff, she did a great job of having people use sounds to feel different vibrations in the body. We had one who is a doctor of physical therapy. She talked about the anatomy of your heart, how it works, what's it attached to. I think I have to say, every time I have one of these, I say, this was the best one ever. But it's just amazing what it brings to women. And there's always somebody gets touched by these particular workshops. So just feels good, Kendra.
I think it's amazing. So you've got a pretty big outreach, with attendance, with inviting people. Is it regional, local, or, are women coming in from all over for this?
You know what? That's the goal, to come in from all over. So we've adventured from, okay, our county is Duval County, right? So we've had St. Johns County, we've had parts of Georgia, St. Mary's, Brunswick. So it is growing. Some of these workshops that I do, if it's from a grant and it's from a local city grant, like one of the ones is from City of Atlantic Beach, I really have to try and stay focused in the City of Atlantic Beach to do the workshops. But it's a great problem, and the board has not had a problem with me saying, I just had a school donate the school to me to put on this workshop for women, and it will hold the number of people I need. Their community centers can't hold the numbers that we're doing now.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So what are the things is New Age Hippie?
So it's been back to back. We had a first aid, it was called Wilderness First Aid Workshop. We did it outside at one of the local parks. And I brought in an EMT forest ranger, and she talked all about all the different types of problems you could have on a hike, how you should dress, what you should bring with you when you go for your walks, all the way down to, a snake bite, to anything as strange as gunshot wound, being in an area where people are hunting or something, and showing us how to plug the hole for a gunshot wound or a broken leg, it was just... That was a little over 2-hour workshop, and it was us making splints and us figuring out what to do to help each other out. So that was Wilderness First Aid. We also did they call it forest bathing. Forest bathing is Japanese, and it's healing. It's healing from being outside in the great outdoors. And we host these, a couple of them, at least two a year, forest bathing, where people meet up in the woods. And then we have certain things that we go through the woods, and we ask them to be quiet. We help them open up their senses, what you see and you smell and you hear, and use your creativity just to think about what's going on around you. And that's been a big one. That's growing. We're getting a lot of requests for that more.
I would think just with the anxiety level of so many people in today's society.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Good experience.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Like saying, find a shape. Find a shape in whether it's a leaf or a rock or whatever it is, and bring it back to the table, and we create this beautiful piece of art across the table. Nothing ever leaves the park, but we create this beautiful piece of art, and people talk about what it looks like to them, and it's really nice. A lot of quiet time, a lot of reflecting. So that's a really powerful one. Then we just finished our third line dancing event. And boy, I have a feeling that's going to end up probably exceeding Empowered Women's numbers.
And where did you host that?
Okay, so the one we just did 2 weeks ago was at the, what do they call that? Beaches Veteran Memorial, right there, Mayport and Atlantic Beach.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's hidden, but it's great. It's got a stage. It's got benches for people to sit on. It's a beautiful open field, but it's just literally at that corner of the Mayport Atlantic, hidden behind, next door to I forgot the name of that building, one of the veterans buildings.
Oh, yeah, the VFW, I think.
Yeah, VFW.
It's on that side of Mayport. Okay.
Yeah. So we just had that one on a rainy day, funny enough, and we still had over 50 people outside. In December, we did it, the Carver Center in Jacks Beach co-hosted with me, and they actually took care of the fee of the South Beach Parkway Community Center, which holds a lot more people. And the week before Christmas, we hosted a line dancing holiday party, and we had 86 people attend.
So is it male and female?
Everybody. Yeah, we had high school students that came. It was so much fun. Yeah.
So did you have like a dance instructor, or was it you?
There's this man named Will, and he likes to be called Will, the line dancing master.
Okay.
Born and raised in Jacksonville. And when he was young, he loved to dance. And in the neighborhood that he was living in, the north side, he said there was a lot of room for getting in trouble. And so he started dancing more, and he would get his friends and buddies to start dancing with him. And he said, I'm going to keep people off the streets. And he started creating line dancing, learning line dancing. And yeah, so he's been doing this for a long time, and he's got a great following of people. And it doesn't matter whether you know right or left. They'll just tap you and smile, and you just start going in that other direction, whatever you need to do. But it just feels so good inside. I mean, nobody is fussing or frowning out on the middle of the dance floor. Yeah.
That's amazing. That sounds like a lot of fun.
We got another one coming up in another month, so I'll let you know. So I can keep up with it.
Where do you find the energy to do all that you do? I mean, I know that you ride your bike half the time and not use a car. Is that a physical thing, or is that an environmental thing, or?
That's a 2-for-1. It's a 2-for-1. Environmentally first, yeah, absolutely. 0 emissions on that one. And then the other part is I'm going to be 60 years old this year, and I feel like I'm still kind of sort of hanging in the 40 with my energy level. And I know it's because of what I do, you know? Right. Like you, I love to swim. I love walking. I like biking. I like to stay active. So
yeah, I finally broke through my unhealthy decade, and I feel like
this decade
is going to be the best ever. And I just turned 60 in December, so yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
All right, so you also do the Tai Chi. I know when I managed the mixed-use property in Beaches Town Center, we hosted several Tai Chi classes there. That's a part of your world still, correct?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
All right, so my partner Deirdre and myself, we started what we call Tai Chi for Health and Wellness, and it's actually under the umbrella of my nonprofit. And so we do classes in the park every week. We always host a free, last Saturday of the park every month. And what we have been doing for the last 5 or 6 months, since we have grant money for this, we've been asked by many organizations to come and help them, whether it be Salzbacher Villages to host, helping out the mothers and the children needing some assistance, or lately it's been the women veterans have had us out several times for their retreat to do Tai Chi and Qigong. And Florida State College of Jacksonville has asked us to come out and be part of their summit for the last couple of years. And we're just doing everything we can to reach out the community. We made a pact amongst the two of us when we said we would start this, that there's always been this kind of attitude with Tai Chi and Qigong groups that if they're teaching Tai Chi or Qigong to you, that you really shouldn't, share that with anybody else. And unless you're asked to go to a group, you don't just walk in on a class to just join a class.
What do you mean?
So it's almost like it's secluded, very secluded groups where, and in the past, groups would say, okay, if I teach you this Tai Chi, you can't go out and share this Tai Chi or this Qigong with anybody else. And Deirdre spent 10 years in China. And no one ever spoke to her when she followed along for years, until one day one of the masters came over and told her she was doing something wrong by just doing his finger up in the air and say no. And he took her in as a student. Well, she didn't want it to be that way when she came here. She wanted to be able to just to share what she has with everyone. So we said, we're never going to be secluded group. It'll always be that we will share with anybody what we do. And we invite everybody to come to our classes and our workshops. Mm-hmm. And so that it's not that it's competitive, it's about the health and wellness. And so that's been very inspiring for the both of us, because it has grown to a level now that there are multiple classes a week, multiple instructors a week that are with our Tai Chi Health and Wellness group. We don't ask them to pay us. We support them 100% and help them any way we can. Yeah, and it's just, we said we need to give back to the community. And that was our gift. So it's working. That too is working.
I have realized as I get older and with aging parents just how important balance is. And I know in my yoga practice, I'm still working on the balance piece of it. Yeah. But would you say Tai Chi is along those lines of
it is
increasing your balance?
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, Tai Chi is mind-body connection. So, some people say they have the greatest balance in the world, but not really physically fit, And sometimes the mind is not as good as their balance is. So Tai Chi is just meditation and motion, moving slow movements, flow, and it's all about balance. There's a couple forms that we practice that have actually been proven, and they have been approved by the Arthritis Foundation and Fall Proof Prevention through them. So.
Well, now you have a practice that you work with a lot of elderly at Fleet Landing, correct?
Yeah, I do.
What exactly do you do with that? What's that program? Or what?
Yeah, so that's not new.
Living?
Yeah, this is where I actually pay some of my bills. So my background is I am a posture alignment specialist. It's a holistic approach to working with individually as the unit. The body's all a unit, not just one specific area. As an example, if you told me that your right shoulder was hurting you, I would be inclined not to be looking at your right shoulder. Unless you said you fell on your right shoulder or you lifted something and you felt something snap, I would be looking at your body to see what's happening with the posture of your body. And then that's what I do for a living. I work on helping people not only feel better, less pain, better balance, mindfulness moves, but it's also about educating them on what their body's supposed to look like and what it feels like when you are aligned and you're not all crooked and twisted and everything else.
So how do you find your clients?
Well, I contract out. Okay. So I'm not employed anywhere. I'm contracted for 2 of the senior living communities here in Jacksonville. I have quite a few clients that I work with individually. And actually at a point right now, which is, it's not a bad thing to say, that I don't really have a lot of availability to add very much more on that plate.
Okay.
Yeah. That basket is little more than half full. And for me personally, maybe it is because I'm aging, I'm starting to understand a little bit more about this, but half full and that basket is very comfortable. Because I still want to fill my new Age Hippie basket and I want to be able to do something in my Tai Chi basket.
Right. Well, so what do you do for your health besides ride your bike everywhere and teach Tai Chi? What's your fitness routine or schedule?
Okay. So every day I have a dog, rescue dog that's about 1.5 years old. And every morning, usually before the sun comes up, he and I go for at least 3 miles. And every evening, at least 1 mile, he and I go for a walk. That's for the dog and for myself. And it's perfect. I love early mornings. I wake up in the morning and I got a lot to say. I'm very excited when I wake up. So then for myself, I do Pilates almost every day. I lift weights 3 times a week and I do it in my own home. I've got a little studio in here. I do them because I went from not having any bone density issues in my life before menopause to getting through menopause thinking that was so easy to osteoporosis. So that was kind of a setback when you find that out. And so
you've been diagnosed.
I have.
Okay. All right.
Yep. 5 years ago, I was great. Fast forward 5 years, it's osteopenia, osteoporosis. So in 1 year, just increasing my weight training, I've gained 6% on my bone density. So it does work. So I do my Pilates, I do weight training in my home. I hike. I love hiking. And thank you to Kendra for finding this place. I am 10 minutes from one of the most fascinating, beautiful, magical places of what is that? Timuquana? Yeah, the Teddy Roosevelt National Park, named after Willie Brown. That was his favorite president, was Teddy Roosevelt. So I hike in there all the time. Yeah.
So for the listeners, I helped Sheri and her husband find their latest house. Which is right down the street from a park. So, that's inspirational what you're saying about the lifting weights, because I've lifted on and off my whole life, and now that I'm swimming at sunrise every day and I'm still trying to fit in my yoga, I just haven't been able to be consistent with the weights. Just later, like at sunrise, my swim doesn't get interrupted. Nobody needs me at sunrise, but sometimes, so hearing the increase in bone density, that just really sinks in for me. That is definitely a good motivation to get that back on a routine for sure.
Yeah. And take 20 minutes. Seriously. I do it. I put my phone on pause and I take 20 minutes, and it's one day 20 minutes is my upper body, one day 20 minutes is my lower body. And you could sit and stand. I do that. I tell my clients this all the time. You could set your timer for 2 minutes and do sit and stand. And that's some pretty dynamic squats.
Right.
But you're sitting and standing, so you know that your form is not off because you're actually putting your butt back in the chair. So you're not working on knees. You're getting the quads and the glutes and everybody else that needs it. So do that for 2 minutes and then try and say, okay, well, I'm going to try and do that twice the next time. And like maybe in, 10 minutes, I'll do the other 2 minutes. And you'll start noticing the strength in your legs. It's not how long you do it. It's quality of time when you do it.
Right.
Yep.
Well, you have always been very inspiring. I remember one of the first years that I actually had a word of the year, and talking with you on your word of the year, and how many years have you done that?
Whew. I think I'm on 7. What is your word this year?
Trust.
Ooh, okay. Okay, that's going to be a loaded one all year. You won't know exactly why you have it till the end of the year, right?
Right.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you
I'm going to share something with you, because now if you want to do this is great, because the people who are talking about homes, I'm going to share with you what we did with the house that you helped us get. So, New Age Hippie really is a sustainable company. It's educating sustainability, health, wellness. We say it all the time. If you're healthy, then the planet's healthy. If we're all unhealthy, the planet's going to be unhealthy. It makes sense. So my house needs to be healthy. And it comes with some of the most simple things. And I love going into people's homes and saying, hey, let me save you a couple $100. Maybe even a couple $100 a month. Let's look and see how your windows are. Is there a lot of heat or cold coming in? If you can't afford to replace the windows, can we get you blinds that work better? And, what's the insulation like in your attic? And, we talk about solar. Paul still does solar. And hot water solar is phenomenal. You get your money back in a couple years, and everybody uses hot water. Photovoltaic might not be the most feasible thing for a lot of people to afford. We don't have federal stimulus and different state funding like we did before, but hot water solar is affordable and it's amazing. Like I said, you get money back. So there's so many ways that we can actually make our homes healthy and save ourselves in our pocket as well. And so we do it all the time. We educate people all the time. Say, come by and look. Like the backyard now. Everything in the backyard is either for the birds, the bees, the butterflies, or it's something that we're going to eat. Some type of pomegranate, persimmons, papaya, you name it. Fig trees are all back there now. So
is the solar, is that yet another business that you have?
Yeah, that's Paul's. I try not to get, I can preach about it all day long to everybody, but you don't want to work with your husband and still love him and be married to him. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. So, but he still has his off-grid solutions business. And so, he does. He and my son Gage just finished doing the other hot water solar here at this house. Okay. And this house is, how many square feet is this house? 3,400?
I can't remember.
I'm going to say it's about 3,400 square feet. And we pay about $140 a month for electricity total.
Wow. That's really
and we have a pool.
That's really good.
So it's pretty good. It's only about $45, $50 more than the boys' house. It's only about 1,400 square feet.
That's amazing.
So yeah. So you can have a healthy home too. Healthy people, healthy home, healthy environment. It's a good thing.
Lifestyle, environment, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started this podcast really like on a real estate related, but community involvement, a little bit of wellness, and, just kind of educating. I mean, obviously people that are contributing to our community, I really feel like it's the people in our community that sells real estate. That's why, people move where they are. And, kind of circling back to the education, the schools are doing well because of the families that are there. It's the women like us that not just got involved in the school, but we were involved with our children, making sure, that they were thriving and doing the right things. But, just learning so much from each other as well, And on a real estate aspect, someone coming to Northeast Florida, knowing that, those communities that are thriving is where people want to be. So
we're in a very special place. I mean, I was born and raised here. And it's a very special place. And it is so nice. Even people, like you're saying, people who are moving here, it's not a joke when you see people smile and wave and say hello to you. It's not a game. It's not like everybody knows you just pulled up, so everybody's going to catch you real quick. It's a for real thing.
Right.
There's very healthy, happy, and very kind people that live here. And that's why we're here. That's why we're still here.
Did I say this already, that I'm famous with my kids? Like, as long as you're healthy and happy.
I say it all the time. I know my kids are like, wow, whatever. No, it's good.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
Thank you, Kendra.
It was really great catching up with you and learning a little bit more about what you're doing. I know I get the invites all the time, and I've participated a little bit, but it sounds like there's some things I need to get involved in with you. So,
love to have you be one of our session leaders.
That might be a path I may take too. Yeah,
absolutely.
I've been sharing my story, and I actually this month I was interviewed and published in the Florida Realtor magazine. So,
oh, nice! Congratulations.
It's a little next level seeing it in print.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you were very patient. And it was obvious that you really enjoyed what you do, because you made it really nice for us. It was a good experience.
Good. I think that's what I pride myself in when it comes to real estate, is just the customer experience.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's sometimes educating too, It's a big process, and sometimes if you're not in it, you don't really understand what the process is. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Sheri.
Thank you, Kendra.
For everyone listening, you can find more information in the links about how to connect with Sheri and me as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Find the Connection. I hope today's episode gave you some helpful insights and inspired you to get involved in your community. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review. It helps others find us. And if you're interested in making a move or learning more about Northeast Florida, reach out to me anytime. Let's keep finding the connection together. Until next time, stay connected and keep thriving.